What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So there is a new update for Diablo 2 Reimagine. It's going to be 2.0.3. I know I just made a video for the last update, which was 2.0.2, but like I said in the other video, they will probably be releasing a lot of updates before it is in a place where they feel it needs to be. So let's just go ahead and jump right into this, try to make this a little fast for you guys because I know it is the weekend and people want to get to gaming. So let's jump right in. All right, so here we are over at the wiki for Diablo 2 Reimagined, and we have version 2.0.3 of D2RR Reimagined. These are the patch notes. I'm sure you already understand that, but if for some reason you don't, now you know. General changes. Major revamp to loot tables to improve general drop rates in Hell and Hell Terror Zones. Should probably see more orbs that previously had issues with their related treasure classes. So obviously, yes, it is a good thing that they were able to make it so we're going to get more orbs. My only wish with this would be that they would have done this for Nightmare as well, especially considering the fact that everybody is telling me that you want to be like level 80 or even level 90 plus before ever getting into Hell. But there's a lot of things that I feel like we need before we go into Hell to really be able to survive it. But at the same time, it feels like I can't get those things, like certain high runes and things like that, unless I'm actually already in Hell. So I feel like there's this weird circle going on with the game right now at the moment, because it's like I'm not powerful enough to go into the Hell difficulty, but at the same time, I can't get the things that I really need to be able to go into the Hell difficulty. And it's creating this issue now where it almost feels like, unless you are very, very good at the game and have a lot of knowledge, if you're a casual, you're not going to like this at all, and it's going to be very challenging for you to really be able to get into Hell difficulty. I don't know exactly what they could do. Maybe up which high runes can drop in Nightmare if they're, if they want to be gung-ho about this being a thing where you shouldn't be level 60 going into Hell, that you would want to be level 80 or 90 before you go into Hell, then you would think that maybe they could at least change it to where we can get the things we need so we can get into Hell to begin with. That would be nice, unless you're a paladin and you have like all of these different abilities that can give you more resistances, because I guarantee you there's a lot of people out there that simply do not have the resistances to really get into the Hell difficulty until they're literally level 90. And I just feel like there's a fundamental issue with that. I'll go ahead and move that to the side for a moment. Maybe I'll talk about it towards the end of the video, because I do know there probably are people here who only really care about the changes, which is totally cool. So I'll just go ahead and keep going, and I'll talk about whatever I want to talk to at the end of the video. Okay, so over here, they added in information about selling standard of heroes dropped by Ubers to spawn Diablo clone in the general tab of the mod info panel. So that's cool. It's always nice, right, when the mod itself is giving you the information that you need, as opposed to you having to go out and seek it out. So that's definitely a good change in my opinion. You are now able to pick up multiple Hellfire torches and Annihilus charms. Having 2 Annihilus / Black Soulstone or Hellfire Torch / Obsidian Beacon charms in your inventory will set your HP to 1. This is to address an issue where crafting torches, beacons, or soulstones on a character that already had one of the craft would fail and consume the material. So they're not doing this to where you can just have these things, right, like 2 of them at a time. That's not what they're saying. They're just trying to say that, for the moment you'll be able to hold 2 of those because it was eating materials when people were trying to do certain crafting recipes. And by the way, since I just mentioned crafting recipes, I know I need to remake my previous 2 crafting recipes, and I will be doing that soon. So I apologize, because I know they're up right now, but I did add outdated to the titles just so people would understand that some of those recipes will not be working the same way that they did before. But to whoever it may concern, just realize that yes, I will be making a new video for that, and I apologize for how long it is taking. All right, so let's jump into the Haradrim cube. So they resolved an issue where some cube crafts and corruptions weren't applying all modifiers. Added an increased attack speed to item upgrades for rings, since FCR, faster cast rate, was an option already. Item upgrade, ring and infusion orbs, and emerald and gold rune, and rare jewels equals 8% faster attack speed. So this is just letting you know that there is a new recipe now where if you use all of those right there, then you can upgrade an item and add 8% faster attack speed onto the item. Monsters, summoner HP reduced across all difficulties. Thank you, baby Jesus. I really feel that is a very, very good move. The summoner was super tanky, regardless of the difficulty you're in, except for maybe normal, but even in normal, man, he was really effing tanky. And Nithilak HP increased across all difficulties to match new summoners HP values. So is that supposed to be increased or is that supposed to be reduced? Because if summoner was reduced, so are they trying to say that summoner had like 2 times the amount of Nithilak or something, and maybe that was a mistake or something? I don't know. That's the only thing that really makes sense after I read that. So I don't know if that's a typo, and I don't know if they actually meant that, so I apologize. But it does say that Nithilak HP increased across all difficulties, so I have to assume that for some reason either Nithilak wasn't touched before and his health was way lower than everyone else's, or somehow, some way the summoner HP was way higher than that should have been. Doesn't matter either way. Summoner's down a little bit. Nithilak has been increased a little bit, as long as this isn't a typo, but they should be relative to each other at this point. Raven Eyes cold arrow damage has been reduced. Flying Sword should now be slightly larger and easier to see. I mean, yeah, that's cool, but at the same time, I kind of wish that, you know what, somebody commented in one of my other videos and they said something that I feel really hit the nail on the head, right? And that was, it feels like the lieutenants guarding any of the act bosses are just a little bit too tanky. I would like to see them maybe nerf the lieutenants at least a little bit, because when you have all the lieutenants coming after you and you have all these flying swords coming after you and you have to deal with, you know, Mephisto and Dario, whoever it is, it's just a little much. I'm not saying a lot. I'm not saying like, hey, you know, nerf the bejesus out of it, but I do think it would be beneficial, at least in maybe Nightmare and Normal. Maybe if you want to keep it in Hell, okay, you know, I get it. You guys are trying to make Hell like really difficult, but at least in Nightmare specifically, it would be nice if they would do that, because then we could actually farm those bosses a little easier so that we could find the items that we need so that we can go into Hell. But let's go ahead and move on here. So up next, we're going to talk about some items. Constricting Ring can now drop. So I guess for some reason it wasn't dropping, but it can now. Rework some underperforming unique jewels. These changes are not retroactive to existing items. Items with increased requirements now show the proper string, increased instead of reduced. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and try to read these, but I'm probably gonna try doing boom, boom, boom. So Tiger Eye, previously rolled 15 to 20% enhanced defense, 5-8 max damage, now rolls 40% enhanced defense, 15-minute damage, and 5 to 8% deadly strike. That is freaking awesome, I love it. Should now properly display unique text color. Jade Facet. Previously rolled 20 to 29% enhanced defense, 8 to 10 maximum damage. Now rolls 40% enhanced defense, 15 max damage, and 5 to 8% crushing blow. I really dig that. Sorry, I'm gonna stop here for just a second. Sorry about that. I know I just said I was gonna be going as fast as I can, but I just want to spit this out there. And that is that I like this change, and this actually makes me want to go out and seek these unique jewels a little more, and even maybe consider actually using them for once, because usually I would not use those unless they had like something along the lines of +1 to all skills. So I do dig that though. Topaz Facet. Previously rolled 25% gold fine, 10 to 15% magic fine, 25 to 50 to defense. Now rolls 1 to 140 lightning weapon damage, 24 to 28% magic find, 25 to 35% lightning resist, and +1 maximum lightning resistance. That is way better in my opinion. And yeah, I like that. That one's really nice. Emerald Facet. Previously rolled 27 to 34 enhanced defense, 15% increased attack speed. Now rolls +3 to 5% increased poison skill damage, +10 to 15 dexterity, +25 to 35% poison resistance, and +1% to maximum poison resist. That one's really good too. And it looks like these are all pretty much the same, but we'll just go over that. So we have Sapphire Facet. previously rolled 37 to 40% enhanced defense, 15% increased attack speed, now rolls 60 to 80 cold weapon damage, 35 to 40 mana, 2% maximum mana, 25 to 35% cold resistance, and +1 to maximum cold resist. And again, that is pretty cool because it's actually giving us a reason to really want to go out and find those spinal facet. Previously rolled 37 to 40% enhanced defense, +12 to 15 maximum damage, now rolls 40% enhanced defense. Okay, so they just took out the bottom part of that, so it's just going to be 40 ED going forward, instead of there being a moment where it could get lower than that. Plus 15 minimum damage and 5 to 8% to pierce. That's pretty cool too. So now let's go over this last little section and then we will be done. I could send you guys all on your way, and that's going to be class changes. So Amazon updated descriptions and synergy text for Penetrate to show that it receives additional bonuses per hard point. Barbarian Tectonic Slam should now work better in areas with lots of wall collision like Arcane Sanctuary. Tectonic Slam now also allows for mana steal to help make Ghost feel less frustrating. Battle Cry range increased by 60%. Tooltip range and HD visual are not updated. We will revisit this in the future. After that, we got the Druid. We have Spirit of the Barbs now ignores line of sight. Monsters were hiding behind pillars to avoid this nasty aura. Really? That's a thing? I didn't even know the AI was that advanced that they could be like, oh, hey, I'm gonna go hide behind this. Unless that was just like a joke someone writ into these patch notes, which very well could be. Ravens, base max hits increase from 3 to 5. That is a good change. I'm happy to see that, because in one of my other videos, I did get a comment about somebody talking about how they didn't really like the summon druid all that much because of the synergies that were removed, and it felt like the ravens weren't really worth it, was the gist of it. So I hope this helps you out here, and this makes your life a little bit easier now that you're gonna get 5 hits instead of the 3, and I think that is great. No, we still want this to be an active skill for summoner, but it is clear that it is causing some issues for players who choose to heavily invest in ravens early on but lack the faster cast rate to sustain them, and that makes sense. Updated descriptions and synergy text for Heart of the Wolverine to show that it receives additional bonuses per hard point. And then lastly, we have the Necromancer. Lower resist descriptions now properly state that it impacts only elemental attacks and not magic attacks. Updated descriptions and synergy text for Bone Armor to show that it receives additional bonuses per hard point. So these are all nice. These are all some good changes right here. That's everything that you need to know about version 2.0.3. And if that's all you care about, y'all have a great weekend. I will see you guys next time. I am going to take this opportunity just to speak a little bit. I just wanted to talk about this and get it out there because it's something I've been thinking about for a little while now. And that is the difficulty with this version of the game. It isn't crazy bad, but I do feel, at least specifically for casual players, it's a little much. And this whole thing about being like, oh, you know, you need to be level 80 or level 90 before you even go into hell difficulty, I feel like that's a little much. I'm not trying to say I want you guys to nerf everything into oblivion when it comes to the monsters and the difficulty, but I do think it would be beneficial if you could find a way, right, to find a nice little happy medium. Like, if you want us to wait till level 70 to go to hell, that's fair, right? I think that would be fair. I don't think anyone would really be complaining if we were able to do that. But I do believe that level 80 and level 90 being the entry point for hell is extremely too high. I really don't think that it should be that high, and I've been playing for a while now. I am in hell. So full disclosure, I made it up to level 61, and then I went into hell and I got shit stomped. But I went back to Nightmare, I started farming more, and I did get better items so I could go into hell, and now I'm level 84 and I'm in hell. And I'm still getting relatively destroyed. One thing I've noticed about this version of the game is charms now mean more than ever. I think I found the other day a +1 to Nova on a large charm, which is really nice. So anybody out there who's playing and you're not picking up every charm that you find, you really need to do that, because I feel like the way that they have created this new meta for the game is more along the lines of farming for charms so that you can have the ability to get into the hell difficulty. My only issue with that is most of us are trying to get into hell so we can start farming, right? Now, I know you might be thinking, okay, well, who cares? Because if you're in Nightmare and you're farming, what's the difference? Well, the difference would be the treasure class. It's going to take us longer to get to where we want to get to in Nightmare as compared to hell. And at least in hell, there was a chance where you could find something that could be straight up build changing for you when you find it, but I don't feel like you can really do that in Nightmare. And to be even more honest, I feel bad for Colin and everyone over there in the Discord that's working on this mod, and I'll tell you why. The reason the game is so hard right now is I saw it firsthand. There was a lot of people in the server just bitching about how easy the game was and being like, oh, this is way too easy, you know, it's not fun anymore, blah blah blah. It's, you know, I got 15 Zod runes, not cool. And I understand that. So I'm sure the reason it is so difficult now is basically as a response to those people. And to be even more real, it'd be really hard for them to find a nice happy medium to make all parties involved happy. So I don't really blame them for doing that, because specifically the people saying the game was too easy were the vocal majority. And I mean, there was some pretty rancid stuff I would see people say, not just in the Discords, but even just go back to like some of my early videos. And there was a lot of comments in those videos where people are like, oh man, I hate it when people take a game and turn it into complete trash. You know, there's no uniqueness here. There's no individuality. There's no blah, 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 blah. I mean, it was insane, bro. So I understand why they're doing this. But at the same time, what I'm worried about is a lot of people that haven't been playing this game for 20 years, because believe it or not, there are still people that play this game as new modern players today. I know that happens for a fact. I have a couple of friends who have done that, who had never played Diablo until literally a couple years ago. But I also know that a lot of those people right now, when it comes to Diablo 2 Reimagined, aren't really having a good time. And I'm worried that those people are gonna leave, right? And then now you only have the hardcore of the hardcores playing this mod, which, to be fair, I understand that most of the time that's all you're gonna have playing this mod anyways. I mean, this is a 20-year-old game, so of course it's gonna be primarily people like that. But I don't think we should be trying to gatekeep Diablo 2 or Diablo 2 Reimagined, it might be better for me to say, and make this a thing where people who try it for the first time don't want to play it and don't want to come back. I mean, look at it this way. So they're making money on the mod, not a lot. And I'm sorry to throw this out there, but just hear me out. So there are people, I'm a supporter. I pay for the mod too. You know, like, I support the mod too. I know other people do as well. You know, they go on Patreon, they go to Scotty Knows Mod streams, yada yada. You would think that you would want to make more, right? And because if you make more, then you can pay for more and you can put more into the game. And I'm just worried that it's not going to be sustainable if we're just kind of gatekeeping the game and making it at a point where nobody really wants to play it if they're a new player, because it's just way too difficult and they do not understand the mechanics. Now, I know most people's response to that would be, well, you know, if you don't want to play it, don't play it. Just go play something else. And I understand that too. But man, like with any business, right? Like, you want to win, correct? We want to win. Like, I'm not affiliated with these guys, so I'm not like gonna make anything off of this or anything like that. But I do love this game and I do love this mod. And that is why I have these concerns about the difficulty at this moment. I just really feel like waiting to level 80 or 90 to go into hell is just a little bit too much. But what do I know? I'm going to continue covering the mod because I play this all the time. I love it. I'm having fun. And although it is a little harder now, I can understand the point of view of people when they say, now I have a reason to play for longer, whereas before I would just go around and get some really good gear and then be bored and just stop playing. So that's understandable. Anyways, if you're still here, thank you for sticking around. I have one more thing to talk about. I would really like to start like some kind of podcast, like maybe a weekly podcast or maybe every other week or maybe even monthly, where I can sit down with somebody and we can just kind of discuss the state of the game. I don't really have anybody that I know who I'd be able to sit down and have a genuine conversation like that with, other than my little brother, but he doesn't play the mod. So for this video, I'm gonna leave the link for my Discord in the description. And if being able to talk about just the state of the mod every once in a while sounds like something that would be fun to you, jump into my server and we can discuss it and see where it goes. Because I don't want to make a podcast where it's just me talking, because it'll get really boring really quickly. So I would much rather prefer at least one, if not two, other people, so we can kind of bounce stuff off of each other and make longer episodes. So again, I will leave the link for my Discord in the description, and if you are interested at all, let me know, and we will have a conversation and see where it goes. So until the next video though, everybody have a great weekend. Hope you have fun with the game, and I will see you guys on the next video. So late.